Hey, anybody remember Don't Starve Newhome? The newest game in the Don't Starve franchise that seemingly came out of nowhere 4 months ago and was supposed to have a beta but ended up just vanishing just as fast as it arrived? Yeah, me too. However, supposedly, it's actually back, and the beta is out now as we speak. But I think you can kinda tell by my words here that I am not one of those people out there playing this game. And by the look on many of your faces out there, I can also tell that you have no bloody clue as to what I'm going on about. So let's talk. Cause here's the deal. Even I don't know what the heck I'm going on about. All I know is that they dropped the trailer over 4 months ago and we covered it. And all I know is that they went radio silent for a bit, but still provided concept art and even a few tidbits of gameplay footage. And we covered it. Listen everyone, I am in the literal same boat as you when it comes to this title. So you're definitely just gonna have to do some catch up if you truly are new to all this, as even more new gameplay footage has surfaced, and we are here today to just give it a watch. So let's get to it. Now, even I myself have never touched a mobile Don't Starve with a 10-foot pole. So I am actually unaware of the UI and potential control scheme over there. However, I would be willing to bet that what we're seeing here is pretty darn familiar to those who have. An action button for mining, chopping, and picking when we're nearby things that require it, of course, simplified inventory, a built-in minimap, status icons, and much more are present. But all that's just to be expected, I'm sure. What I don't see is a crafting menu, unless of course it's behind that arrow on the left there, and we can also see the ability to build many sorts of homes for little guys called Mew Men apparently. We'll be getting to the footage of Mew Men villages later on, however given their different looks here, I could probably guess that we can assume that each holds a different occupation perhaps, just like the shopkeepers in Hamlet do. But all in all, this one just pretty much confirms the basics in my opinion. And while this one segment will actually do the same with some familiar faces in Pigment and Spiders returning, it actually does confirm some neat additions as well as some potential personal UI settings to be set to boot. For one thing, I notice a dead survivor and their boots, which all but confirms their return, but more obvious is the lack of an inventory bar, a minimap, and even our stats for Pete's sake. Now I'm not sure if we'll be able to actually disable all of that for ourselves for a much cleaner look as we go along, but I actually wouldn't mind the option really. But speaking of looks, our mob friends do appear very similar to their PC and or console counterparts at the end of the day, while the sticky web in itself has certainly undergone some alterations. But yes, this footage also confirms the Spider Queen is in the game, folks, which likely just means that we're just going to be seeing other medium type mobs that we know too. But one last note, this teensy tiny icon at the right seems to indicate what it is you're about to swing at, which could or could not cause some issues accidentally, if I'm honest. But moving on to just a whole mess of UI, everyone. Then again, it is all in relation to chest inventory, backpack slots, crockpot menus, and more. But here we see how storage actually looks and works across the board, how cooking food is gonna go, and it looks like it actually just filters out ingredients for us, which could be interesting. We see and confirm the presence of other players, which means that this is in fact a multiplayer game, as I know that was a well-asked question back when. We can see some short glimpses of the portal, and what we do get to see is that, my goodness, it looks drastically different from what we know. We also see lots of familiar structures, sure, that are definitely going to be making a comeback, but there's definitely one diamond-shaped thing that activates when someone is near it that doesn't look familiar, and it could be a new crafting station, of course. 2 new icons can be seen at the right, and these could be character specific, as this character is not one that we actually seen before, and just much more to break down for your pleasure if you wish to do so yourself. To be fair, it just all certainly still looks like Don't Starve, doesn't it? Heck, and even all this does too, as the new Newhome villages are likely just pulling from Hamlet, as we alluded to prior. In fact, and I think I said this months back, but it really does just seem that Newhome here is just smashing together Don't Starve together, Don't Starve Shipwrecked, and Don't Starve Hamlet, all the while trying its best to put its own twist to things. Well, in most things, beyond the seasonal bosses really, as here we can even see our fluffy pal Berger making a return. But now, these Newhmen and what is found around their villages are still kind of a mystery. But it does look like there is a hierarchy, of course, as a potential Queen Mew can be seen. I kind of noticed something that looks like a notice board of sorts, so maybe we can get missions or something, as we alluded to with that owl-like creature a couple videos back. And it really does look like Newman will fill different shopkeeper roles or something. I don't know. I truly do not know a thing. But this next set of gameplay has likely got me the most intrigued at the end of the day. Apparently, a brand new adventure mode is coming to the Don't Starve franchise in Newhome, and it's a bloody roguelike it sounds. Huge rooms that are going to be randomized if it is indeed a roguelike style thing. Merms actually return, although out of all the mobs, they do look rather different, I must say. Some new aesthetics that look dark and menacing, which is always neat. Chess pieces can be seen, the ornate chest can be as well, strange black fire pits, and much more. No bloody idea how it's going to work at the end, or who we're actually looking to go against in a brand new adventure mode, but perhaps we're just not giving this game the proper credit it deserves, folks. It does seem way bigger and far more ambitious than we initially thought. They're giving it a try. But to wrap up, just two final images of two very familiar other big bads that we'll be encountering in Don't Starve Newhome here. The first being Deerclops. And my guess is that they will all work as we know them to work, as much of what we can read about them just go hand in hand in what we already have experienced. But who knows? They could end up surprising us. That said, what they really aren't going to surprise us with is the art of these guys. Sure, their original mobs and characters don't really have that Don't Starve style per se. Then again, I haven't played it, so I can't truly speak on that. But I think people are just being a bit little nitpicky there for the sake of it. Listen, I'm not saying you're entirely wrong for doing so. But still, let's remember that this is not actually made by Clay Entertainment whatsoever, and that it's a mobile game. But there you have everyone, some new details and gameplay from Don't Starve Newhome, a brand new Don't Starve game that we still kinda have no idea about essentially. But listen, I completely understand the sentiment of being put off by this title, given its appearances, maybe even its gameplay itself, the lack of the lore connection, and even the people behind developing it and publishing it. But that doesn't mean that we still just can't have fun talking about it, and maybe just wishing that some of this stuff was actually implemented by Clay themselves. But whatever the case, thanks for watching, folks. Well wishes to all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.